Now recording. Okay, anyway, I'll back up for a second and say that this is the regular meeting of the Town of New Canaan Board of Selectmen. Started at 8:35, Tuesday, July 21st. And we were just beginning to reorder the agenda, and I made a motion to add 4 items to the agenda and move number 13 up to the front of the agenda. The 4 items we can do up front as well. So do I have a second for that motion?
Second here.
Discussion? All in favor of amending the agenda? Okay, let's proceed. The first item of the agenda is the minutes from the last meeting on July 7th. Any corrections or comments on the minutes?
None here.
None here.
I move we approve the minutes of the July 7 meeting. Second, all in favor? Aye, that's unanimous. Public comments. Members of the public are welcome to provide comments to the Board of Selectmen on agenda topics scheduled for review and or vote. We are taking comments by email only, and you need to email BOS distribution, all one word, at canaanct.gov. We will read the comments in the course of the meeting, and we will check for any comments that are received. So this is a big news day. Actually, Kit made the big news yesterday, so why don't we first of all congratulate Kit on her service to New Canaan, which is going to unfortunately terminate in August. And Kit, perhaps you'd like to say something.
Well, I didn't actually think about it. Maybe I could say something at my next and last meeting, but I can only say that it's been a great pleasure.
It's been our pleasure.
And we wish you well. You plan to be here for the next meeting in August, the 2 meetings in August?
Well, probably just the next one.
Okay, great. All right. And then secondly, I am going to announce today that Tom Stadler is intending to retire, and we plan to appoint a new Chief Administrative Officer. Why don't we'll discuss that when we get to the appointment item, but I just wanted to thank Tom for 12 years of tremendous service to New Canaan. And it's been quite a ride, and we appreciate Tom's service. And Nick and Kit, you might want to say something about Tom.
Well, I certainly would like to say something about Tom. I've had the great pleasure of working with him for years, and he is a man of great integrity and talent, and he has gifted New Canaan with that for forever. So my hat is off to him.
He is a New Canaan treasure. He is calm, cool, and always collected. He cares deeply about New Canaan. And he is the nicest darn guy you'll ever meet in any town in the United States. He's just a super wonderful human being and a model for all of us. And thank you, Tom Stadler. You are my friend, my colleague, and I wish you the best in your golden years, and hopefully many golden years. You're the best, buddy.
Thank you both. Thank you.
Okay, so as I told Tom, when it comes time to transition, it requires that we find the right person, because this is a unique position in the New Canaan government. And I wouldn't have thought about this 2 months ago, and I didn't really expect to be here, but we have the fortunate opportunity of having someone who everyone knows and everyone supports in Tucker Murphy. And Tucker has agreed to succeed Tom. So that's the reason Tucker's on here as a guest. But I would move this item up on the agenda to nominate Tucker Murphy to become Chief Administrative Officer effective September 8th. Tom will be transitioning for a month or two after that. But do I have a second?
Second here, Tucker, can you tell me a little bit about your background? What do you do? And
Very funny, Nick. But honestly, I mean, you all know I'm.
Tucker, wait until you're nominated.
All
before you
right.
talk.
I'll learn the protocol, right?
I think Nick seconded. Do we have any discussion?
What can one say about Tucker? She has it all.
Well, I'm glad, Kit, you're here to vote and approve Tucker, because I think there's no one in town who knows more about New Canaan and knows more about our town government, having served on both the Board of Education and the Town Council. She's a terrific person to work with, and I think I'm very pleased to have found Tucker sort of laying there in blind sight, and now I'm very thrilled to nominate her. And I would ask for our unanimous vote in support of.
yeah, I would just say I wouldn't be here if it weren't for Tucker, because when Tucker decided to move from the Board of Ed to Town Council, Tucker, you may remember this. You and I had lunch at Woodway Country Club, which my wife did not know about, which initially caused some problems, but not because of anything between me and Tucker, but because of the whole political thing, which was kind of dumped on her. No, I mean, this is the perfect person at the perfect time, and losing Tom, because rightfully he deserves to enjoy his golden years. Tucker is just I mean, we're in the middle of this crisis, and to have someone who knows the town as well as Tucker does, frontwards and backwards, left to right, is just a wonderful opportunity. And so I'm delighted to support her as our next essentially, right-hand person to the Board of Selectmen, and particularly the first selectman.
And I think the world of Tucker. I've known her for years. I'm a great admirer. It's bittersweet that we're in this position, because I think that Tom has done a phenomenal job. But I'm so happy that if we have to lose Tom, that we can have Tucker, because that's just great.
As Tom points out, one of the quirks of our charter, the chief administrative officer, for some reason, is not an officer in our charter, but it's one of the most important officers we have. So it's kind of weird that we have that quirk among many quirks in our charter. And I am thrilled to ask for a vote in support of Tucker, and then I would give up. That's unanimous, and I would give Tucker a couple of minutes to speak.
Thank you all. It's funny to be sitting here looking at you all in this Zoom for starters. I do prefer the person to person, so hopefully we'll get back there soon. But you've all said such great things, but I have to just amplify Tom and the work that Tom has done here in town. And I probably wouldn't have considered this role if I hadn't been able to carry on the work that Tom has already done for this town. I've got a lot to learn, and I'm looking forward to it. And Tom and I are friends, and Tom and I have served. Tom was the president of the chamber board for a couple of years, and I think the world of Tom. So really, Tom, this is all about you, and I'm glad that you're comfortable that I can carry the torch forward, and I really look forward to serving the town. This is sort of the final lap for me too. But I got a lot more left in me, so I look forward to working with you all. Yes, Tom's got his hand up.
Tom, you have the floor.
Tom wants to have the closing comments. Thank you all. Wonderful comments. Let me get rid of these glasses. I love all of you. I'm going to miss you dearly. Going to miss everyone dearly. But a time comes. The time really does come. When that old red Jeep wears out and quits running, I got to retire. And you know what? The old red Jeep is falling apart. The frame is cracking. So maybe it's time to go spend time with my family, my in-laws, and my 4 wonderful grandgirls, 1 and 7. And we're going to go spend a whole lot of time with them. So thank you all.
Okay. So welcome aboard, Tucker. in September. And Tucker's going to join our department managers meeting at 9:30.
Hey, Kevin.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but Whitney just poked her head in and said that it's not streaming live on 79, just for the record.
We're aware of that. We're working on it in the background. They're having some problems.
Okay, thanks, Tommy.
Thank you, though.
Okay, so actually now let's get back to the agenda with the item we moved up because Cheryl has to jump off. The Employee Assistance Program number 13, approval from a request from the, pardon me, Director of Human Resources to enter into a contract with Behavioral Health Consultants LLC for $7,250 for the Employee Assistance Program. Cheryl.
Okay, as you all know, we have worked with behavioral health consultants for close to 12 years. We have 250 employees who can utilize it. We have just brought on volunteer EMS at the beginning of COVID, which is great. They have access to it now. We have 24-hour coverage for all of our employees and volunteers. They are allotted 3 assessments if they choose. We also access 12 hours worth of training for our employees, and all of our supervisors have unlimited phone consultation with them if needed. For extra, they will do critical incident debriefing, which they've worked many times with police, EMS, and fire, and they will also do substance abuse evaluation if we need them to. So I would like to recommend a contract for the year. The total is $7,250. And that will cover EAP services for all of our employees for 1 year.
Thank you, Cheryl. I move this contract be approved, $7,250. Do I have a second? Thank you, Kit. All in favor?
I have a question.
I do too. Yeah.
So what are we currently paying?
We are actually, the fee at $29 for employees has stayed the same for 5 years. So it's $29 per employee, and they have not increased that.
And you said that they would do training, and what kind of training is that?
They come in, they do sexual harassment training, harassment in the workforce, supervisor training. So we have utilized them for many different trainings for our employees and volunteers.
But training in what respect?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, I doubt that they're trained. I mean, are they training for emotional issues?
Depending on what the issues are that we see, really they are coming in to do mandatory trainings that we have to do. And then they will also come in if we have managers who need training on how to be a manager, communicating with the public. They will come in and do all different trainings for us in regards to that.
Got it.
So Cheryl, how do we define employee? The 250 employees?
Employee, anybody who is part-time, full-time, or volunteer are eligible for these services.
Good. Okay.
And Jack, I don't know if you want to jump in, or if Bonnie's new to this, but in regards to the utilization of their services for your firefighters.
We've used EAP a few times. There's some mandatory training that we have to do annually, and they've assisted us in that. We've also had some critical incidents where counseling was needed. We would bring a group of people in, and they would send a psychiatrist or psychologist to just talk to our staff and help keep them emotionally healthy.
Yeah, and I mean, this has always been a good program, but it's needed now more than ever, I think.
I agree with Jack. We've definitely used them for EMS, and people have been very happy with the services they received. Cheryl.
We get a lot of value out of the service.
Yep.
So unless you're, did I have a second on the motion to approve the contract?
Second here.
Okay, further discussion? All in favor? Okay, it's unanimous. Let's go to the 3 tech contracts that, maybe they're not all tech, but is Chris doing the wide area network, the VMware maintenance and support, and the email archiving? Are those all Chris's?
Yes, sir.
So the first one is $40,000, $40,643.90 for the Cisco Smart Now maintenance of the WAN. The second one is $17,854.64 for the VMware server and desktop. and 4890 for the email archiving. These are all basically what supports our desktop and our communications throughout the town. So do you have any questions for Chris on these 3 tech contracts?
And they're all in the budget?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, we're down a couple thousand for each one, which is,
Yay.
yeah.
If there's no other questions, I move we approve these 3 contracts as I described on the tablets.
Second.
Further discussion, Nick? Kip? All in favor? That's unanimous. Okay. Chris, do you have anything else on the agenda?
No, that's it for me. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Going to the dry hydrant. Chief, number 3.
We have a dry hydrant installed on Teespring. It was installed a number of years ago. We test all of our dry hydrants twice a year. This dry hydrant has failed its last 2 tests and it needs to be replaced. This money is in the budget. We'd like to approve $10,000 to take out the old dry hydrant and put in a new one.
Questions for the chief?
None here.
None here.
I move we approve a contract with Duff Price Excavating for $10,000 for the replacement of a defective dry hydrant at 571 Cheese Spring Road. Do I have a
Second.
Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor? Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Moving to the Board of Education Technology Equipment Lease. Linda. Linda?
Linda, we can't hear you.
We're having technical difficulties with Linda. And maybe we should move on and we'll come back to.
Linda, we can't hear. Can you?
And then we move on and we'll come back to this item. Bristol Bird Sanctuary Tiger, is this, or John Howard?
Maria will be presenting this one. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Good morning. We're here to present Phase 1 of the Bristow Centennial Master Plan at Bristow Bird Sanctuary Wildwood Preserve in anticipation of its 100-year anniversary. The first phase of work encompasses trail restoration and widening, removal of stumps and debris, bridge and rail work, and the creation of a meadow in the former gravel pit area. The town of New Canaan publicly advertised, soliciting proposals for Phase 1 of the master plan, and bids were obtained from 3 contractors, all of whom have successfully worked with the town in the past. We recommend that the contract be awarded to Peter Lanny Incorporated, who was the lowest bid at $103,191.25, plus a 15% contingency of $15,478.69, for a total of $118,669.94. And the funds are currently available.
Questions for Maria?
It's a great price. I wonder how they can come in so much below the other bidders.
Hungry.
But again, all contractors have worked successfully with the town in the past, so we're excited.
We reviewed Peter's prices with him, and he's comfortable with his number. We would have won with any one of the 3 contractors, but we are happy that Peter came in substantially lower.
Any further questions, Nick?
None here.
I move we approve this contract with Peter Lanny for $118,669.94, which includes a 15% contingency for the Phase 1 of the Bristol Centennial Master Plan. Do I have a second?
Second.
Further discussion?
None here.
All in favor? Thank you, Maria.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Linda, back on?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Sorry about that. Every year in the 5-year capital plan, we have a BOE IT leases. And so this contract is for the winning bid. We reviewed the bids on Friday, July 10th. We had 7 companies bid, finance companies bid. We selected TD Equipment Finance, which came in at 1%, which is very, very low. The bids ranged from 1% to 4.7%. And so we were really excited that we had some really good bids. And even as I was calling back and notifying the bids that were not successful about the equipment finance, they were all shocked at how TD Equipment Finance is going to make money out of this. But TD Equipment Finance already is in the 4th year of a lease with us for other Board of Ed equipments. And so we've received the contract from them. I sent it to our attorneys yesterday. They're reviewing it. And if there aren't any comments on the existing contract, we'll be bringing it to we'll be giving it to Kevin to sign. And so we just need your approval at this meeting for Kevin to sign the contract following the review of our attorneys.
If I may, the only thing we're approving is the lease. It has nothing to do with the underlying equipment that is being leased. True?
Correct. The equipment is sourced separately through the Board of Ed. We're just approving the way we pay for it, the financing.
Yeah.
So is TD a Canadian bank? Do they have negative interest rates in Canada? I can't figure out why we get this 1%, but.
We didn't ask too many questions. We just took the 1% and ran with it.
Wow. Okay. Further question?
Take the money and run.
I move we approve this lease purchase agreement with TD Equipment Finance for in the amount of $621,878 as on the terms that Linda described. Second.
Second here.
Any further discussion, Kit?
None.
All in favor? Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Linda. Parks Department equipment. John Howe.
Yes. How you doing?
Good morning, John.
Good morning. Hopefully this time you can actually hear me. Last 2 meetings you haven't been able to. Do you want to go through each one of them separately, or
Very fast.
Okay. Zero turn mower is right at our $10,000 new purchasing limit, but since we're coming for other items, we thought we should bring it forward. We'd like to go purchase that from the same company that we purchased one from a year ago. It's been a very good mower for us. These are the little zero turn mowers. So we'd like to purchase that for $9,949.49. Our second bidder in that came in at exactly $10,000. So we're still going with the low bidder. The field mower, we went through the whole budget process with the field mower, and that is a Wiedemann Super 600. It's a tow behind field mower, which also picks up the debris, which helps with the quality of the high grass fields, because we can remove a lot of the weed seed and plant material like that. So in the long run, this will help conditions of meadows such as the cornfield and what we can mow with it up at Irwin and places like that, similar to what the goats are doing.
We have to start calling it the Jenningham Meadow, John.
Okay. I like the cornfield because it's been the cornfield for me for 20 years. Understand.
You got to get on message, John.
Yeah, I know. So we're looking to purchase this from AOA Equipment, or AOK Turf Equipment. They are sole source vendor, so they're the only company we could purchase this one. It's a very specific piece of equipment, so we'd like to purchase this for $45,450. The third item is replacement of one of our lowboy trucks. A regular lowboy, we'd like to replace it with a crew cab and Fisher plow. We'd like to purchase this from Carl Chevrolet. Carl Chevrolet, in the purchase, there's bid assistance of $8,400, which helps reduce the price. And with a very nice trade-in of 13.5, our final price would be $48,007. And then the last item is a scoreboard replacement for Copple Field. This is the next to last scoreboard replacement we have at this point in time. Copple Field is the field up behind Lapham Community Center, and that's scoreboard. It's time to replace it. Going with new LED technology and everything else, we'd like to go with the same company, Northeast Scoreboards, to purchase the scoreboard for $10,124. They've done all the scoreboards in town for us. So,
Hey, John, this is the next to last. What is the last?
Mead Park, the big field down at Mead Park. And then the only other place where we really need to put a scoreboard in sometime, but that's would be a separate item, not replacement, would be up at the water tower, the new turf field, number 2. It'd be great to have a scoreboard up there too.
Be nice to have a donation for that.
Oh, I know Steve Benko received some money from the from his gridiron thing that he has earmarked towards that.
Okay. Any questions about the 4 items?
They're all budgeted.
Yes, I'm sorry. They're all budgeted and they're all under budget. Yes.
With the account numbers, which is which is great.
It helps me when I go to do the purchase orders with Krisky's help.
It's good. It's a good practice.
I move the approval of these 4 purchases for the Parks Department as described by John.
Second.
Second, Kit seconds. All in favor? Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
We'll move on to the, who's doing the EOC?
It'll be Joe.
Joe.
Good morning.
Morning, Joe.
So we are requesting to re-enter into a service agreement with Norcom Connecticut to maintain, inspect, service, and repair the town's radio equipment infrastructure. So the town has recently invested in a new simulcast radio system that has drastically increased radio coverage. This system supports police, EMS, fire, public works, and CERT. Equipment is located in several sites throughout the town. Norcom was the installer of the equipment. They installed it under Motorola, and they are most familiar with the sites, the equipment, and site access. So they know every site and how to get there in an emergency and how to get it opened up. So that's very important. This service agreement was reviewed back in February with all the stakeholders, and their service was finalized and approved. Motorola also offered a package, but it was less attractive from a financial position. Norcom has proven to be very responsive and a capable provider. They've been doing it for the last several years. So we'd like to enter into a service agreement with Norcom for a contract value of $36,453.33 with a contingency of $3,546.67 for a total of $40,000. The funding is available in the EOC budget for this fiscal year. And so basically that's it. We're looking for approval.
One quick question. I see a warranty credit which expires July 31, and that's part of why we are paying what we're paying?
Yeah, so we're actually paying for 11 months of service because they credited out, they prorated. We were already covered for a month of service based on when they commissioned the equipment. So, so we get a credit back for that 1 month.
Is this just for labor, or I don't understand why you have a contingency on a maintenance contract?
Well, it is for labor. There's certain things that aren't covered, say like a lightning strike or other particular equipment that is not covered. So we don't necessarily need to have a contingency on it, but we put one on just for ease of access to the funds.
Another example there, Kevin, would be if there's a service that's required after hours. The service agreement that's in front of you is for normal business hours, but if there's something that comes up during a storm over the weekend, then there'd be an additional upcharge, and so there'd be a contingency fund to be able to cover those upcharges.
Gotcha. Thank you, Stuart. And thank you, Stuart, for your service. Stuart is one of our best volunteers, and we're about to talk to Stuart about something else soon. So let's, I move we approve this $40,000 maintenance contract for our multicast, is how we describe it? Multicast?
Simulcast.
Emergency radio system. Which is
Second here.
Further discussion? All in favor, Kit? Nick?
I am. I'm trying to turn off my phones here. Sorry. They are ringing off the hook.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe, and thank you, Stuart.
Thank you all.
Now we're into Tiger's territory.
Yes, thank you. Good morning. This first contract is for the paving of the Schoolhouse apartment lot, as well as the South Avenue Cottage down below. The lot hasn't been repaved since I believe the 1970s. We went out to bid. We had 3 bidders, FGB, Daring, and Grasso. FGB Construction was the low at $148,363. They all seem to be quite tight, quite nested. Our engineering estimate for the work was $170,000 even, so the first 2 bidders came in a little bit lower than that. So we'd like to go forward with FGB Construction at $148,363, adding a contingency of $22,250 for a total of $170,613. FGB's done very good work for us. They're our current vendor for our local roads work this year, and the funds are currently available in our parking lot account.
Questions?
Stupid question here. I presume that all gas work is in that area going to be completed before the repaving?
All the work in the parking lot for the schoolhouse is complete. That's correct. We'll be installing some conduits underneath just for future, say electrical or irrigation, things of that nature. But all the work is complete. We do have to remove a couple of oil tanks, but we'll do that prior. One at the police department, one at the schoolhouse, but we'll do that prior to this work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What does that mean, Tiger? Have we converted the police department to gas?
Not the police department yet, but the schoolhouse has.
Right. And
excuse me, police department's converted.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bill.
Yeah, everything's converted over there.
And South Avenue Cottage, though, is not converting, or are they going to convert?
They are not.
Did not have plans.
It's not our building, but it's a small residential building. So, okay. Nick, any further questions?
None here.
All in favor? I'm sorry, did I move this? I move we approve this contract with FGB for a total of $170,000, which includes a contingency of $22,250 for the repaving of the schoolhouse apartments and the South Avenue Cottage parking lots. Second. Kit seconds. Further discussion? I'm sure the schoolhouse residents will appreciate having this overdue parking lot paved. That's unanimous. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Localized road repairs.
This is phase 2. You approved phase 1 back in April. This is the second phase. This is an annual contract that we've put forth with New England Paving. New England Paving's done excellent work for us since 2008. We've been doing this 2-phase approach since 2011. So we'd like to go forward with an additional $100,000 for localized repairs throughout town with New England Paving on a time and material basis. And the funds are currently available in our pavement management program.
Questions on this item?
None here.
How many roads are we doing? How many roads are we doing?
This is various repairs throughout town. Curbing, driveways, patches, utility trenches, things of that nature.
And we're not repairing the
No.
gas line.
No, that's on them. They actually went out and did portions of South Avenue yesterday. They'll do another large one at South Avenue and Maple Street today. And then they did a long stretch on Cherry Street on our roads. And then they're directed to, once they finish the state roads, they're going to continue on patching our roads. They're getting ready to pave 106 from Farm Road to East Avenue, starting on August 3rd at night, from August 3rd to about August 15th. So they'll pave
at night.
At night, that's correct. It'll be 9 p.m., 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. to 5 a.m.
Why do we? Ooh, I didn't know that. I remember they did the 106 at night, South Avenue at night. But in residential neighborhoods, why do we allow them to do night paving?
It's not our call. It's a state road.
Let's call our state representatives. But why do they want to do it at night?
They feel that production is better, less traffic, less concerns. That's a state directive. So
why would you rather have it, Kevin? Why would you rather have it done during the day?
Because I'll get all the calls from people with the trucks waking people up at night. It's one thing to do South Avenue by the YMCA at night. It's another thing to do it on all those residential streets downtown. It happens to be a state highway, but it's a residential neighborhood.
Right. So it's the noise. It's the noise from the.
Yeah, the backup beeping and all that stuff. That.
Yeah.
Still, I think you'll get fewer calls than you will from all the residents that are upset about having their routes disrupted.
I agree.
Having their what disrupted?
They're driving.
The daily traffic. It's a trade-off. It's between a little loss of sleep, and then a large disruption during the day trying to pave South Avenue, the main thoroughfare through town. It's a trade-off. But the state prefers to do this portion at night.
Okay. Where were we on this? Did I move it?
I don't think so.
I move we approve this contract with New England Paving for $100,000 for localized road repairs. Do I have a second?
I second.
Further discussion? All in favor? Thank you, Tiger, on that one. Guide rail.
Thank you. The next is a guide rail installation on Country Club Road. There's a patch of 2 cable guide rail across from the Country Club at 10 Country Club Road that leads from 123 down to the first driveway. 2 cable guide rail is no longer allowed to be used. It's in disrepair, and we'd like to come forward and put in the Merritt Parkway type steel-backed wood rail through that area. We think it'll be a nice gateway into town. Atlas Companies LLC has the low bid on the Connecticut DOT maintenance bid for it. We have funds available. The pricing is $17,477.50. We've added a contingency of $2,600 for a total of $20,077.50.
I was delighted to see this, Tiger. I'm not a member of the Country Club of New Canaan, but I drive by there frequently, and obviously the Country Club has done a great job in renovating their facility, really first class. And it's that it really is ugly that in the condition of that guardrail on the corner there is really needs to be upgraded to, I think, to blend in with what the Country Club has done.
Right. Well, this is a two-phase approach, Nick. I agree with you. That this is actually on the southern side. On the northern side, we're actually partnering with the Country Club on having that entire stretch removed and regrading. We have a wetland permit to proceed and pipe in the ditch that's there, and then do some landscaping throughout that area. So the northern side, on the Country Club side, we're actually looking to remove the entire stretch, and this is the southern side. the sister portion of it. It's a little bit covered over with weeds. You can't see it, but you are right. That way we're trying to give a nice gateway into one of the other nice gateways into town.
Right.
Since a lot of people come down 123 and then head across Country Club Road to get to 124, we felt it was a nice area to try to improve.
Totally agree.
Would you say there's a safety issue?
Would I say there's a safety issue with the 2-cable guide rail? Yes. Yes.
That's old fashioned, right?
It's old fashioned, yes. And they're creosote covered wood poles. So the creosote itself is an environmental concern. And then just the fact that it's the wood placed over time, eventually it rots. So the feeling is to replace those and then go with the wood backed or the steel backed timber rail, which we think would be a nice addition.
Great, that's great.
Is this required because it's at the entrance to a state road?
It's not required because it's required because of the drop off. If you actually, they're looking at the drop off, the grade change between the road and the adjacent property. Anything within 7 feet of the roadway is considered a hazard. There's no area to return to the roadway. You need a recovery area of about 7 feet on a 25-mile-per-hour road, and the drop off is directly adjacent to the roadway in this location.
Okay, whatever. I move we approve this contract with Atlas Companies LLC for a total of $20,077.50, which includes a contingency for the replacement of existing cable guide rails as Tiger described with wooden rails. Do I have a second?
Second.
Further discussion?
None here.
All in favor? That's unanimous.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tiger. Are we on to, oh, great, transfer station fees.
Such a joy.
So let me make a preliminary remark that we kind of bought onto this idea in budget season. It probably wasn't the greatest idea. So Tiger, why don't you explain what the revised proposal is?
Well, the revision, the original proposal was that anything coming into the station from 0 pounds up to 300 and beyond would be charged. We were originally giving the first 300 pounds free to residents bringing in any construction debris or bulky waste and brush. The problem that we're seeing now is that we're getting a substantial amount of traffic into the station for lower charges, meaning a 50-cent charge. There's a 10-pound limit on the scale. So the first 10 pounds is read by the scale. It's in 10-pound increments. So 10 pounds at our rate turns it's 5 cents a pound, turns out to be a 50-cent fee for the first 10 pounds. Up to $100 would be $5 for that fee. We feel that that's a little excessive, and it's driving too much traffic into the station and causing some backups. So we felt that we should go and revise the poundage to the first 100 pounds for free, but then limit the number of times a resident can come into the station to 1 time a day. So therefore they don't continue, because one of the problems that we had prior was that the resident would come in up to the limit multiple times per day. So our feeling is to give them the first 100 pounds for free, but then limit the number of times they can come into the station to 1 time a day for this type of work. If they want to come in for their garbage or recycling, they're more than welcome to come in for any of those, but to actually drop off brushy waste maybe 1 time a day. Yes, Kit.
At the risk of being very unpopular here, I'm going to suggest that we keep it at 300 pounds, but limit it to once a day. I think that a lot of people are under financial pressure. I think there's enough change going on. And I think that if we can consider chipping in for a more attractive guardrail for the country club, that we could afford to do this little bit of a break for the people that need the dump. Excuse me, transfer station.
I have no concerns with that. Our main focus was to try to limit the amount of people either A, coming in, or B, trying to utilize the station to their advantage. So if we limited it to the 1 time a day, that's solving the majority of the problems that we were seeing, or the
I think that works for me.
So Tiger, why didn't we just propose one time a day in the beginning?
Because we were trying to capture everything, and we were also asked at the time to find other areas of revenue. We were trying to make the transfer station cost neutral. So this was an area whereby we didn't have it. You also remember that we did propose to go to the Darien model, which is $125 for a permit, and everything that you bring to the station is free at that point in time. But we were asked to revise it to the $75 limit instead, and then charge for the bulky waste. Darien does it where it's $125, and anything you bring in is part of that permit fee. But
no restrictions with respect to weight.
No restrictions as far as weight. No, contractors are charged, but not residents.
I just would like to say that I think that when the original proposal came in, times were very different than they are now.
Right.
I would agree.
No,
I think the Darien model sounds good. I mean,
you want 125 rather than 75?
No.
I'm not talking about the price. Just the thing, we bump up the price, and then you bring in whatever you want once a day. You want to bring in, 300 pounds, 7 days a week. That's, I don't know. I mean, the fact is, during this pandemic, I think people are throwing more stuff out, whether because they want to sell their house or because they have time on their hands or whatever. They seem to be, cleaning out that garage that needed to be cleaned out, their attic. So I think, going to kind of a higher cost, one-time cost makes sense rather than, trying to weigh everything and figure out what the cost is.
There has been a substantial uptick in traffic to the station because of those reasons. Most of the people are home, they have additional time. Home improvement projects have become the norm now for that reason.
Have we seen people throwing things in the dumpsters that should be taken to the bulk area?
Not necessarily. There's the cost between the bulky waste and the trash is almost equivalent, almost equal between the two. We pay actually a slight uptick on bulky disposal rather than garbage. So we've instructed people, if you have one, a couple of pieces of wood, you can throw it into the trash, into the garbage. That way you don't have to go back through the scale, especially
So there's no prohibition on putting construction debris and brush into the dumpsters?
Small increments we were allowing just because we were trying to, again, bring things forward and move traffic through, especially when we started proposing this $100. Or the 100 pounds, we stopped charging for the first 100 and allowing people to then bring it in. If it's a substantial load, then yes, they should be weighed and charged. It's a state requirement that we weigh, so we know exactly how much is coming in and going out of the station.
And we can police the once a day requirement?
We can police the once a day, yeah. The station managers are well informed and know who is coming in and who isn't. It's sort of like the parking authority. They know exactly who's utilizing the downtown. Our station managers know exactly who's using the station on a daily basis.
Well, I think all three of us have heard from a lot of people that they would appreciate it if we could revise this. So I hope we can.
We've heard from a few people, and obviously it doesn't make sense to have people paying 50 cents or $1 to go into the, and especially in the COVID environment. We don't want people having to have unnecessary contact with the yard people. So basically what we're saying is revise the policy we adopted, which was effective July 1st, to stay with the 300 pounds a day, which was the policy for free, but limit residents to once a day dumping. Correct?
Right. They can, like I said, they can come in with other materials at any time, but the 300 pound per day limit would be on a once per day.
So in other words, if I came in with 500 pounds, the first 300 would be okay, and I would pay for the next 200.
Yes, we can do it that way. Yeah, we're if you want to allow the first 300 regardless of weight, we can do that. We've been doing it whereby if it's up to 300 pounds is free. If you've got a 500 pound load, you pay for the 500 pounds.
Oh, I see. Okay. Whatever.
We can certainly, you can make that distinction and just allow the first 300 for free, but we've been doing it differently.
I wouldn't do it that way. Again, we got to be careful. We do something on the fly here, but that we haven't thought through.
Well, if this were to just allow the 300 pounds per day, as Tiger is suggesting, then, at some point when the world is normal again, it can just be revised.
Well, so basically we're saying we're going to stick with the policy that existed, but we're going to start to enforce once a day limit, which will be a new policy, and we'll put signage up and make people aware of the policy. The thing I'm concerned about, though, is that people don't begin to put it into the dumpsters as if it's just garbage waste as opposed to bulk debris and brush. So as long as that doesn't happen, and we're gonna lose about $30,000 of the revenues that we anticipated.
This was about a $19,000 hit. We feel we actually were probably doing much better at this time due to COVID. So the past 3 days there was at least $2,000 to $2,500 taken in. So.
Okay, so I move we revert to the prior policy, and the modification to the prior policy is that we only allow once a day dumping of bulky waste. So I have a second?
Second here.
Discussion? All in favor? Okay, that's unanimous.
Thank you very much.
Moving on to painting. Who's doing painting?
This will be Bill.
Yep. Good morning, everybody. So we have in our current budget funds for painting projects, which I attached to the request, a summary and a spreadsheet. We did go out, we advertised, the advertiser sent out 4 RFPs to contractors we've done business with, also including our Sherwin-Williams representative who distributes to contractors in this area, or to who feels that would be a good contractor for the town. We received 2, one from Atlantic Services, one from Scholar Painting. Atlantic Services, who's performed very well in the past for us, came in the low bid. So we'd like the approval to contract Atlantic Services to do all these paint services for us.
And this is all in the budget?
Yes, sir.
Questions for Bill? Nick has departed.
It's just amazing to me the variation in bids, how much someone can charge for painting.
Well, the interesting thing was Scholar Painting is new to us, and we're just, we're looking into make sure they're reputable, and they have a 80+ employee workforce with a lot of overhead. Atlantic Services is a much smaller outfit with less overhead, so that's the only thing I can, contribute to maybe the difference in the cost.
Great.
Any questions, Nick, on this?
None here.
Okay, I move we approve these contracts with Aladdin Services for the total of $103,075, which includes a contingency for paintings of the town buildings as described on our laptops. Second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? That's unanimous.
Thank you.
The employee assistance program already. I'm going to defer, actually, rather than having Linda do the financial update, he did this to the Board of Finance last week, and I will refer you to the tape of that meeting if you want to get that update. Nothing has changed since that update. And Linda, I hope you don't mind. We're going to not have you do a repeat. And then legal fees, approval of legal fees on the tablets. I move we approve the legal fees on the tablets. Any
Second
questions?
here.
Okay, discussion? All in favor? Legal fees are approved. Tax overpayments, there's a handful of car and real estate taxes to be refunded. I move we approve what's on our tablets. Second?
Second.
All in favor? Dick, that's unanimous. Contracts under 5, I think there are 3 small contracts. And that brings us to general matters. Anything we want to discuss?
I just have a suggestion, and that's that at the beginning of each meeting, when we allow for public input, we constrain it to agenda items. And I know I've suggested before, but I think given that it's a very constricted amount of time that people can speak, that they should be allowed to speak about items that are of concern to them, not
Well,
just what's on the agenda.
On the other hand, Kit, we're not really a policy board. So, we make administrative and operational decisions. It's one thing to be making comments to the town council, who does set policy. But anyways, I think it's always been this way, Tom. And I did want to address one thing. We still had the COVID cases that we get from the state over the weekend. We got 2 new cases, both college-age kids who tested out of state, one who has not returned to Connecticut, let alone to Canaan. So it's really, really not helpful to be talking about state-reported cases until we investigate the circumstances and know that we really don't have local transmission from those cases. And so I just would urge people not to use the raw data from the state website without understanding what they involve. So anything else we need to discuss?
Just back on this thing that I brought up, I think that a lot of people are interested in having you in particular hear what they're feeling and thinking, and their way to do that would be.
I get emails every day. I know what people are thinking. Reiterating it in a public meeting doesn't. I
think it's comforting to the public to be able to express.
You want me to publish my emails? I'd be happy to publish all of my emails on a website, and people can see what people are concerned about. They're all subject to FOIA.
Well, and we can talk about this in 2 weeks too, but I don't understand what the resistance to it would be. Why we would not allow people an opportunity to express what they're thinking and feeling.
Well, again, I'm not averse to transparency. Again, I get daily emails from people. That's my job. You get some emails occasionally. They send to all 3 of us. I'd be happy to. Other towns are transparent with publishing all their FOIA requests. Darien does that. So I'm all in favor of transparency. And we can discuss it at the next meeting.
Yeah.
But for now, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
Okay, thank you all. Have a good day. We'll talk to most of you on the department manager's call in a few minutes.
Thanks.